republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thanks for coming, everybody. If you're wondering why we have this meeting at 10 a.m., we do it every year. This is the last business year of our fiscal year, and so we have to make adjustments for our year-end accounting and budgets, and they have to have time to get it all put in the computer by the end of the day today. So we do this every year, and that's why. Roll call, please.
Jon DeBoyer.
Here.
Maureen Bory.
Here.
Mark Bouchard.
Here.
Artie Bryson.
Here.
Christy Hiltonen.
Here.
Chris O'Regan.
Here.
Cindy Valentine here.
Okay, everyone's here. First thing on the agenda is our public hearing for our 24-25 budget. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to open the second public hearing for the 24-25 budget at 10:02.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. So I'll open up the public hearing for 24-25 budget. Anyone would like to come up and say anything? Have at it. Sure. Yeah, please. State your name and address.
Pam Murdas, 8121 Colony in Clay. I have a few questions regarding the budget or some concerns. So the handbook for the State of Michigan Townships Association regarding compensation for township officials and employees does address the option of a two-part salary, but political flyers from some candidates who are seeking office are stating that they will repeal or eliminate the bonuses for the current supervisor, treasurer, and clerk. Now, the definition of a bonus is a financial compensation that is above and beyond the normal payment expectations of its recipients. Mr. Cassidy, currently running for supervisor, states that the supervisor, clerk, and treasurer, and I quote, pay themselves a $40,000 a year bonus every year above their salary. And Mr. Galka, running for treasurer, states, and I quote, stop the practice of bonus pay for the treasurer, supervisor, and clerk, currently costing the taxpayers $120,000 per year. Does this current budget, or any budget in the past few years, contain any monies for a bonus to be paid to any of you on the board? Has anyone on the board voted for or been asked to vote for compensation in the form of a bonus for the supervisor, treasurer, or clerk since serving this township? Those are my concerns. My concern is whether or not any board member on their own could vote themselves a pay raise. Can the supervisor, clerk, and treasurer collectively vote yourselves a raise without any trustee votes? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments or? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the second public hearing for the 24-25 budget at 10:05.
Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. The public hearing is now closed. We'll, by the way, that's actually the second public hearing we've had on our budget. We're only required to have one, but we've had two. Bills payable, I will entertain a motion.
Board, I'd like to make a motion to approve bills payable in the amount of $36,932.98. Support.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hiltonen.
Yes.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Jon DeBoyer.
Yes.
Okay, motion carries. Supervisors report. I had a visit with the DNR Trust Fund grant administrators to look at Harson's Island Nature Park. We submitted a grant for $400,000 to develop that park. And the visit went really well, actually, very positive. So I also took them to take a look at where the county beach park is going, because they have a lot of dealings with that, and then where the Spark grant to pay for new park upgrades next door. So went well. And I did hear, or I've been seeing a lot of concerns in the community about our water rates and water debt charge. I wanted to provide some clarity on the matter to show how these charges being utilized has actually benefit our community. Next year, Clay, we're going to be embarking on an estimated $8.4 million infrastructure project replacing our water main to ensure reliability of our water services to all the residents. The funds collected from the water debt charge are specifically restricted for paying off current or future debt relating to a water infrastructure. Maintaining this charge, we are taking financial responsibility approach that will greatly benefit the township in the long run. By keeping the water debt charge in place, we will be able to reduce the amount of money the township needs to bond out for the water main replacement project. In turn, this will significantly lower the interest and bond payments over the next 20 years, ultimately saving the taxpayers money. Our goal is to ensure that we manage projects in a way that protects our taxpayers' money while providing essential services. I've heard an argument about those who sold their house in the past 2 years will not directly benefit from the water debt charge. And I would say that that there is a benefit from that they have, because how the township takes financial responsibilities and is prudent during their time here. Additionally, our primary responsibility is for current residents of Clay Township. I'd have to do the study, we either have the cheapest water rates in the county, or if not the cheapest, pretty close to the cheapest. In fact, I don't really want to throw Algonac under the bus, but we buy our water from Algonac, and our water rates are less than what Algonac charges their residents. So I just want to make that clear. This strategy is to help us maintain future rates as low as possible. Let's see, we've been working on union negotiations with the fire union, MAFF, and we are going to mediation, and we are waiting for a mediation date. Working on several projects stemming from our ARPA funds workshop. And we do have a public tour scheduled for our wastewater treatment plant here on the mainland for July 10th at 2 p.m. And if anybody has any questions or concerns about the plant, I encourage them to come and partake of the tour. County Beach Park update. They have the engineering done for phase 1, and they're planning a red ribbon cutting here in the end of August, and shovels will be hitting the ground early September for phase 1 of that project. Fall cleanup, it'll be the weekend of September 21st and 22nd on the island. So have all your junk you can take it and dispose of it properly here on the mainland behind the water department, and on the island at Brownsfield.
The mainland is just the 21st?
Right, mainland's 21st. Seems like they're 3 times as busy on the island, so we have 2 days over there. take hazmat material, old paint, gas, oil, old appliances, whatever you have. So tires, if you bring tires, they have to be off the rim. And George will kill me if I don't mention, we don't really take latex paint because all you have to do to get rid of latex paint is let it dry and it goes in the normal garbage.
But please make sure it's dry.
Right.
Sand, kitty litter?
Yep, sand, kitty litter, pop the lid and let it dry.
Yep.
However you want to do it. Because what happens, I mean, and it has happened, it'll go in the compactor of the garbage truck and leak out, and we have your color of your bedroom or whatever paint you used going down the road, in the middle of the road. And also due to the August election, we're having our August 5th meeting at the Algonac Clay Museum, Maritime Museum at 6 p.m. They are. I was at their meeting Tuesday, I believe, and they're opening the museum an hour early at 5, and they'll stay later to 8 or 9 for people to go through it. If you've never been in that museum, it is a gem. It's fabulous. So I encourage you to do that. All right, that's all I have. Okay. Public comments. Do we have any public comments? Come on up, state your name and address.
Brian Roy, 831 Burns Road. I'm the superintendent at the wastewater plant. I've just been hearing some rumblings about the wastewater plant. I just wanted to clear a few things up. The wastewater plant takes in the water from Ira, Clay, and Algonac. We treat it, we send it to the North Channel. We don't discharge raw sewage. Sorry, I don't public speak much.
That's all right. Have we ever?
We had one incident at the plant in 2016. It was on site at the plant. It was a valve issue, and we reclaimed all that water and put it back into the manhole at the wastewater plant.
So was there raw sewage that ever reached the North Channel on that, in that instance? Not at all?
No.
If it's okay, I ask you a question. Now the South Water Authority, municipal authority is under. We're out researching for a new engineer.
Correct.
And we're going to look at what project?
We're looking at potentially building a tank at the wastewater plant because we do have infiltration issues. All wastewater plants do. So we can capture that water and treat it at a later date.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Come on up.
Pam Murtis, Dillon Colony. In recent political flyers, mention of concerns with sewage overflow has been repeatedly stated. For instance, one piece of literature from Mr. Cassidy stated, "Protect our environment and our North Channel by stopping the sewage overflow." I never heard of this concern before anywhere other than recent political literature. But if there is a sewage overflow, I wanted to know about any health and environmental consequences. So I phoned the office of the St. Clair County Drain Commissioner and was told that they are not aware of any such problem. And apparently it was Brian who I was speaking to because it was a representative at our wastewater plant said that there is no sewage overflow, as did the supervisor at Ira Water Department. So that's what I didn't ask anyone on the board because I wanted to get my own information from others versus the board. And so you're the only one that I have left to ask. Do you agree with everybody that said there is no sewage overflow?
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Come on up.
Kelly Nader, 7203 Audubon. Regarding the sewage overflow, I have read documents that there's a huge concern, and liability, and that's interesting, Mr. DeBoyer, that you are asking him questions when you were head of the DPW. But
I have
that's,
nothing to do with the sewage treatment plant.
well, you would,
That
you
was the St. Clair
were
County
said
sewage treatment plant.
by Mr. Bryson, he said you were our expert. That's why you are here on this
Okay, so
board.
I can tell you as an expert,
Don't point at me,
after
please.
36 years, there was never a raw sewage overflow into the North Channel.
Okay.
How's that?
But that's wonderful.
Okay.
So
your
anyway-
information-
Overcapacity.
your
Quit raising your
information
voice up.
And
Point of order.
the Eileen test channel is inaccurate. And
Okay,
Ryan
but
Campbell
I've read the
is
documents
inaccurate.
from this county, and
Pardon
there's
me?
huge concerns, and there's a reason they got rid of us, but that isn't what I'm here for.
Do you have document to support that? Do you have?
Yep, I do. I've read them all.
Where is it?
If you haven't read them, shame on you.
I have the documents, I've shared them. There's
Yeah.
overflow, there's overcapacity issues. That's
And equipment
In
is,
total point of order,
Let's-
this is
let's-
public comments.
Let's stick to public comments, please.
Overflow into the North
Well,
Channel.
normally public
Very
comments, we're
misleading.
just supposed to listen and not badger them.
Right.
So I
Let's
feel
listen.
that you're badgering and it's not polite,
Let's listen.
it's
Feel
not
anything you'd
professional.
like. We're
Let's
entitled to
listen.
your feelings.
Let's listen.
anyway, I just put 2 signs for 2 candidates at the shop. And the signs that are getting destroyed by the Bryson followers, well, I would tell my followers to not steal signs. 2 of these signs weren't even up
I don't
24
have-
hours. You've never said, please do not destroy my opponent's sign, don't steal them.
Please don't destroy my opponent's signs.
You don't got to tell me I'm not
And
destroying your signs.
I would hope my
I would never
opponent's
touch 'em.
signs have permission to put their signs
Okay,
there.
this is public comments. But anyway, it's ridiculous what's going on. We have pictures. I mean, your brother went and, who paid for that survey over there at the ferry property? That's interesting. You know, the one poll was on Bryson property, so now there's a survey. It's gotten petty and ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank
I'll agree
you.
with that.
I don't know what survey she's talking about.
That ain't ridiculous is what I mean.
Oh, I saw you.
Okay, any more public comments?
Yeah, I'd like to say something, Artie.
Yeah, come on up.
Frank Rogers, 8121 Colony Drive, my wife Pam. Stand up and tell the folks who you guys are. Get out there and, you're silent, get out there.
Okay.
All this crap that's passed around, people believe it. My daughter said, "Oh, this," and I met my wife. I met Mr. Cassidy. All I've got to say, he is a snake.
Okay, thank you.
And just one other thing, he was a lawyer, and he's going to have a part-time thing because it's a part-time job. He's not going to be in his office. And I recall a guy, Macomb or something, another lawyer, he barely came into the office. You're in the office there just about every day. All you folks, you're doing a good job. Keep it up, but sell it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Any more public comments?
Just real quick, I would really hope that we could look into having a town hall meeting, because this isn't probably the place to really go over things, but I would really, we get things in the mail, and campaign promises are really great, but I think that would be a format where we could really get our thoughts out and ask some questions. I have respect for anybody who would be running for public service. I certainly would never do it, so I do appreciate that others are willing to do it. But if we have questions, we can't really get them answered, and I think it's very, very important to do so before we go into that election booth. So I would really appreciate any help in trying to get together a town hall meeting, and then and just invite all the candidates who want to come. If they don't. But I would love that type of format. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more public comments? Hearing none. Moving along to the consent agenda, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the minutes of 6/17/24.
Okay, we have motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, under new business, we have rezoning agreement for the American Tower, conditional rezoning RS to I-1. I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the conditional rezoning agreement from RS to I-1 for 8101 Macomb Road with the proposed revised stipulations from the email from Christine Anderson.
We have support.
Support.
Okay, we have motion support. We'll open up for discussion. Our attorney did go over the agreement and verify the changes that she wanted to see in it, and I believe they agreed to go ahead and make those changes. Am I right?
Yes, this is from the rezoning, excuse me, that we did in March. This was just the agreement that goes with it.
Yeah.
The board already approved the rezoning. We're just now approving the agreement for the rezoning.
Okay. We have motion
We have motion and support.
and support. I'm going to do roll call.
Mark Bouchard,
No.
Artie Bryson,
Yes.
Christy Hiltonen.
No.
Chris O'Regan,
No.
Cindy Valentine. No. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
No.
Artie Bryson.
I already voted.
You don't set them.
Motion fails. Okay, next, I guess that's a moot point, right? B, it'll be amend the map for the conditional zoning.
Well, we already approved the rezoning.
Oh, that's true. Well, entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the map agreement 12655 for 8101 Macomb Road, RS to I-1, conditional rezoning. This is just amending the map for the rezoning that we already approved.
The map is actually part of the zoning ordinance, so the map has to accurately depict what the zoning is, so that's what we're doing. Entertain a motion?
I made a
We
motion.
got a motion.
Okay, do we have support?
I'll support it.
Okay,
We can
motion
open up
support.
discussion.
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Christy Hiltonen.
No.
Chris O'Regan.
No.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John DeBoyer.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Mark Bouchard.
No.
Artie Bryson.
Yes. Motion passes. So we'll amend the map to reflect that the zoning that we changed last meeting, or in March. All right, next is reappoint Jon DeBoyer, alternate Artie Bryson to the SWMA, term ending 1/1/25.
Board, I'll make a motion to reappoint Jon DeBoyer and the alternate Artie Bryson to the SWMA, term ending 1/1/2025.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion?
I'd like to be an alternate. I mean, we didn't have any options. We don't have any options on this. This is the only way we can go.
Well, we can vote on this, then you can bring it back.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Next, for fire reinstate firefighter paramedic Scott Walsh.
Good morning. Pictures look nice on the wall.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'm requesting permission from the Township Board to reinstate Scott Walsh back on the Clay Township Fire Department. Scott resigned due to personal reasons. He is Fire 1, Fire 2, and he's also a state-certified paramedic, and he also has his officer classes. And he wants to come back.
I personally think I miss him, and he'd be a great addition to be back, so. Anyone want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to reinstate firefighter Scott Walsh to the Clay Township Fire Department.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
Chief, do you anticipate this being a full-time placement or full-time as a part-time firefighter?
It would be our part-time firefighter. Scott would like to work 2 days a week. He would like to work Mondays and Wednesdays, which is some of our.
Does that help you?
That helps us
schedule?
with manning, and he could bring some more to the table.
Good. Does he have any prerequisites? Like, is this a term contract, or is he going to be all in?
You mean as
like we're not? This is not a short-term solution.
No, he went to work for a school system.
Yeah, okay.
And
that's not my business, but okay.
Yeah, and it just wasn't for him. He wants to get back into firefighting. He misses it.
Good, and you want to have him.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have the Colony Tower quote for Pittsburgh Tank and Tower to resurface the tank and repaint it and do a little structural work. And the total is here 58. I thought it was 56,675.
Does that amount need to be adjusted?
What's that? So I'll entertain a motion.
Is the amount wrong?
Yeah. The quote has it at 56,675.
That's the right amount?
Yep. That's what's on a document they want me to sign.
I'll make a motion to approve the Colony Tower Pittsburgh Tank and Tower painting using ARPA funds in the amount of $56,675.
Support.
Okay, with motion and support, I'll open up for discussion. This doesn't include fixing around the base of it, there's cement, and it's non-structural. It's just there to take the gap between where the steel stops and on the ground. That needs some work. They said it would be a lot cheaper if we had a local cement guy do that. I know, Chris, you inspected it yourself, right?
Yeah, so we need to handle this in two separate things. The first, like the 56,675, there's two alternate, we'll call them tasks that need to take place there. One of them is drilling weep holes in the balcony floor. The other one's cleaning anchor bolts, tightening the anchor bolts, tack welding circumference. So there's like additional duties that go above and beyond the 56,675. So I think on our sheets, it was summarized as 58,405.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
Which includes the additional duties, which at this time, Board, I would like to support personally.
Yeah.
I would like that
So
same
that number
company
is right. I'm
to
sorry.
do these additional duties. So I'm wondering if we couldn't amend the motion for the written amount as it's on our board sheets, at $58,405.
I'll amend my motion.
And I will support that amendment. Are we still in discussion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have we identified a contractor for the cement work?
Go ahead, Chris. No, not yet.
No. So our DPW superintendent and I took a look at this project last week, took some photos, made some notes. I'm in the process of developing a report for the board. The way the tower is constructed, if you can envision steel stanchions with cross members, and they run all the way up to the top, and they're on huge stanchion plates that go into the bottom. There is a steel ring, if you will, at the 4 foot, approximately 3'9" off of grade, right? And the structural integrity looks like the main portion of the steel building, the steel tower, is on all of these stanchions. Now, below the stanchion point, we have we'll call it a decorative block. And that's what you can see, and I believe that's painted white right now. So the decorative block is starting to fail. And it's starting to fail for a couple of reasons. We think primarily it's from water infiltration and a freeze-thaw cycle. So I think one of the solutions would be to create a proper piece of galvanized or steel flashing that comes from the steel on the tower on an angle so it could shed water out and over top of the block that is on the base. So what I would like to see, and what I'm in process of putting together, is us to solicit a bid to go in conjunction with this $58,000 so we can talk about perhaps refurbishing the lower block and creating some type of a new flashing point that goes around the base of the unit. So it probably won't be terribly cheap. It's going to be custom work. It's going to create, it's going to take a creative fabricator, if you will. And this building is actually, it's 88 feet around the base. So the period of block, or the scope of the work would consider 3'9", so 45 inches of block that is exposed. And I would think that we would want to, some type of media blast to get this down to some type of original format, or at least some adhesive would stick to it. I think the block should be re-tuck pointed. I think we should create this and fasten this new flashing, the circumference flashing that would go around it, and then turn it back over to the painters to do their thing.
How do you think we'd fasten it, the flashing to the steel?
I think it would be spot welded.
Spot weld, yeah.
Yep. And that surface may have to be prepped, brushed, wired. You
Spot
know,
welded.
a good welder would know that.
Yep.
I think in years past, and from our research together, it looks like this project was refurbed back in 2004.
Yeah.
So it held up for a while, but their solution for the water runoff was, for lack of a better word, it appears to be like a bondo, something you would use on an automotive repair. And it was tapered, so if you can picture, it was maybe 3/4 of an inch at the top and tapered down to 0, right? And it was to shed water, but it was a very shallow pitch. I think if we're going to do this project, we should look into a fabricator to do this correctly, and I don't know that this would have to be done anytime in the near future.
Right.
However, that's going to take some customization, and there's going to be a price tag with that. So again, I'm preparing a report. I'd like to share it with the board, and then we can talk about pushing that out for bid and using it in conjunction with the Pittsburgh bid that we have for $58,405.
Right. Well, we had a lot more money budgeted for this project, and it's going to be considerably less.
Yeah.
The next time you go out there, I'd like to go with you. I'd like to take a look at it.
Yeah, and I think our DPW superintendent probably has something to add. Lance?
I went and talked to...
Could you come up to the podium, Lance? Thank you.
I went and had a meeting with Carl Coleman up at Mechanical Fab,
and he says the only difficulty that he actually sees in it is having to make something like a cone that would actually fit around like me and you had talked. That seems to be the only difficulty that he sees, but he said kind of the same thing, the freeze and thaw thing is what's actually creating the big issue with it. So he was talking something maybe, not really sheet metal, talking something maybe 3/16 thick, and then cutting it hopefully to fit the circumference of the tank. So he would like to possibly maybe come out and maybe meet.
Get a price from them?
Well, so we can all talk apples and apples as compared to, everything else, because that's the other thing that me and Mr. O'Regan talked about is the way the cracks are in the base, you're going to have to probably either die grind or grind the cracks open in order to, cake
point 'em.
cake bag them and then tuck point them. So it's going to be a little bit of a time-consuming thing, but for it to, be something that's going to last for the future, it's going to have to have some work put into it.
I know before they repainted it last time, they did a lot of structural work on that where they actually jacked up one leg at a time and re-poured the footings under it. So, all in all, structurally,
the footings on the
it's in
inside
good
look
shape.
good. The other thing that we talked about was possibly putting some sort of a vapor barrier on the inside of the tank. Because
from going up,
all the moisture coming up inside of the tank, and then you got the warmth on the outside, especially this time of year when it's humid, it wants to sweat more inside because there's really no ventilation.
No airflow.
Right. Huh. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and to your point, Supervisor Bryson, what we're talking about is purely cosmetic.
Right. Exactly.
100%. None of it appears to be structural.
Right.
And that's what I try to convey with the steel stanchions. Like, they hold the brunt of the weight, all of the weight. The bottom is a decorative because I don't think they wanted their steel on grade.
Right.
They wanted to hold their steel off a grade to preserve the life.
You have a ballpark, like on top of the 58 idea? Not really, not
So
so
this is it's so unique. Like, this piece of flashing, if you will, right? It has to be pitched, cut on some kind of an angle, and also allowed to bend because the unit is curved.
Right.
It's 88 feet around. So it's going to be a unique piece. And I'm not sure what metal fabricators get, but if I had to guess, I would $15,000.
Yeah,
And that's a stab, Maureen. Just take that with a grain of salt.
What do we have budgeted, like 80,000?
120.
So we'll be in there.
I'd feel better about
Can't
getting
be
some
done.
hard numbers and bringing them to the board and then letting you guys make a decision about it.
But I thought this was a good quote from Pittsburgh Tank and Tower for the painting. And I'm sure they would like us to have that base fixed and done before they paint.
I would think so, at least structurally.
Yes.
Where it needs to be. I don't know if their quote includes painting of that block.
Yeah.
My guess is it doesn't.
Doesn't.
Just in reading their quote, they kind of went a hands off on the lower portion. So I think they start at the 3'9" level and go all the way up.
Can't be that much more for that little bit, but do you want to wait until we have everything?
No, I want to get them
Get it
solidified.
Okay.
We have motion and support.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Chris O'Regan.
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John DeBoyer.
Yes.
Maureen Bory.
Yes.
Mark Bouchard.
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yes.
Christy Hiltonen.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. I think people there will be happy. Resolution 24-19, amending the 23-24 Clay Township General Appropriations Act. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-19, amending the 2023-2024 Clay Township General Appropriations Act.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Attached is all the amendments for proposing. Any discussion?
So we are amending the building department due to increased building permit fees. The highways, streets, and bridges due to, they actually got to the Fruit Road, Cemetery Road project early. I think part of it was supposed to be in next budget year. It wasn't expected to be completed this budget year. The ambulance fund was not budgeted at all, so we added that. And the Harson's Island Sewer Fund was not budgeted at all, so we added that.
And what about the DDA? The difference there? We got more revenue for DDA? Went from 295 to 370?
Yeah, they approved their own budget.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And the ARPA funds, because we actually started some of the projects.
And some of it?
The ambulance fund, isn't that just money in, money out?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, but we didn't budget for the money
I
coming in.
understand.
from
So after the millage
millage.
passed, we needed to make adjustments.
Correct. And the Harson's Island Sewer Fund was the grant that we received.
Mhm.
Any questions? Roll call, please.
Cindy Valentine, yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Yes.
Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Christy Hiltonen?
Yes.
Chris O'Regan?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next, we have Resolution 2420, Clay Township General Appropriations Act. And this is approving our budget going forward for next year.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2420, the Clay Township General Appropriations Act, for a total budget of $17,074,585.74.
Support.
Okay, a motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call.
John DeBoyer?
Yes.
Maureen Bory?
Nay.
Mark Bouchard?
Yes.
Artie Bryson?
Yes.
Christy Hiltonen?
Yes.
Chris O'Regan?
Yes.
Cindy Valentine, yes.
Motion passes. Okay, moves us right along to board member comments. Cindy?
Absentee ballots should be going out, if not tomorrow, first thing Monday morning. That's all I have.
Okay. John?
So I'd like to welcome back Scott Walsh. I think he comes highly qualified. Glad to have him back in the department. And I just want to reiterate my comments from the last meeting to the Clay Township voters. Please do your research. There's so much propaganda, so much misinformation, flat out lies, to be honest with you, being spread out there. All I can say is research it, verify, and vote with an education on who you're voting for. And happy upcoming Independence Day.
Yes. Okay. Maureen?
Well, I agree with John that you need to do your research. Feel free to contact any of the candidates. And it saddens me to see people come up to the podium and be treated disrespectfully, in my opinion. There's severe intimidation being practiced in our community that, especially with the upcoming election. And I just ask people to be brave. I've had more than one person come up to me regarding putting signs on their property that's not this current board, and asked these homeowners to remove their signs and businesses. So there is intimidation being practiced, and it's people that you do know, Artie, that are doing it. And I just say, try to be brave, stand up for what you believe in, and don't let the intimidation tactics take you down. Happy Independence Day.
Mark, have anything for us?
I had the planning commission last night. We had one rezoning on Harson's Island was approved. The potential drive-through at the, that is at the Old Family Video next to Kroger, just so they can sell the property, be more appealing. And one, a third structure was denied. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Chris?
Yeah, my scope of work for the county tower, am I at a position where I can start soliciting some bids for the work? Would that be beneficial for the board, or do you want me to develop a scope, the photos, and then we'll ship the package out for a bid? What are my marching orders here? How do you guys feel about this? And I'm just spitballing.
I say let's put something together and let's get some bids.
We'll just try and ship it out, and we'll try and get some bids on the different media blasting, the fabrication work, and
Yep.
maybe the tuck pointing.
Thank you for
And
doing
then we'll bring
that.
that together, and we'll vote on it together.
Yep.
That sounds great. Secondly, thank you for coming today and taking time out of your Thursday mornings. We appreciate audience members and members of our community voicing their opinions. And lastly, after those windstorms, I went and I just checked out my gutters because I really like my gutters to be clean, right? They were terrible. They were so filthy. Like all of that stuff that came down after all those windstorms, and we've had several, right? They were completely clogged. So I was getting a lot of groundwater infiltration because my house couldn't shed it. So I had to clean mine, just be conscious of it, and have somebody take a look at yours if you're not able. That's it.
Okay, Christie?
We are finalizing the online tax file for the 2024 property tax statements. Those will be mailed out next week, so you should be receiving those if you don't have an escrow account. If you have any questions, please call the office and we'll be happy to help you.
You want to start that over?
Property tax statements are going out next week on the 1st. So if you have any questions, call the office. If you don't have an escrow account, you should be receiving your tax statement. And we're prepping the online file, so that will be live on July 1st to pay if you pay online.
Thank you. It was brought up overflows and public comments. I think it was answered, but we've never had any overflows in the North Channel from our wastewater treatment plant. And it was brought up about a town hall. I'd be willing to go to a town hall. My competition said that it would be a waste of his time. So I don't know what to say about that. And I'd like to welcome Scott Walsh back. And there was a comment about a survey at the ferry. I have no idea what that was, who did the survey or anything else. So I don't know anything about that. And I'd like to wish everyone a happy 4th of July and be safe out there. Yeah, and the pickerel tournament. You should have done that. And good luck to our first responders, because tomorrow is Jobby Nooner.
Oh.
So it's always a handful.
Can I add one more thing?
Sure, you can.
The senior all-night party class of 2025 is running the dime toss at the pickerel tournament. If anyone has glasses that they would like to donate, we are in severe need of glasses, like vases, glasses, jars, maybe plates. If you go through your cupboards and you have anything.
Maybe some painted ones?
Well, maybe. They would really appreciate that if you could donate.
All right. Anything else?
Bring it here to the donation.
All right. One more motion.
Well, they can drop them off at the Algonac Lions Club.
Yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Yep. Thanks for coming, everybody.